My name is Miss Ng, and I'm saying a happy hello to Mrs. Probeck's class. And you go to my favorite school. You really do. Marzoff is my favorite. I even have a shirt that says that. Yes, I work at your library. Now, I know you're thinking, my librarian's Mrs. Pruse. I love Mrs. Pruse. And yes, that's your library too. But your library is also the Shaler North Hills Library. And as soon as we all come back together, I hope you'll come and visit, and I hope I'll get to come and visit you. One of the things that I really love are stories. I really love silly stories. But what I love more than stories are people. I do. I love people, and I love
taking the people and bringing the silly stories to the people. Yay!
And I think you're going to like this one. This book is called Big Mean Mike. And that's Mike right there. He was a big guy. He looked a little mean. Big Mean Mike was the biggest, roughest, toughest dog in the whole neighborhood. He had a big, mean bark. Pow! And he had big, sharp teeth. And he wore a big black collar with gleaming silver spikes. His claws were big and mean and very pointy. Best of all, Big Mean Mike had a big, mean car, and he liked to drive it around the big, mean streets. It made a big, mean sound whenever he revved the engine. Vroom, vroom. Oh, here comes Big Mean Mike, the other dogs would say. He's the biggest, toughest dog in the whole neighborhood. Everyone knew how big and tough he was, and that was the way Mike liked it. On Tuesday, Mike decided to buy a brand new pair of combat boots. He liked the way that they made his feet look extra big and mean. He came out of the store and admired his big, shiny car, and then he opened his big, wide trunk. And there, next to the big, tough spare tire, was a tiny, fuzzy bunny. Hey! Hey, you! Said Mike. How'd you get in there? The tiny, fuzzy brown bunny just blinked up at him sleepily. It was very cute. Mike picked up the bunny and quickly put it down on the sidewalk. Big, mean dogs and tiny, cute bunnies do not go together. He peeled out and sped away, revving his engine a few more times for good measure. On Wednesday, Mike got in his car to drive to the gym. He opened up the glove compartment to get out his gym pass, and when he reached for the inside for that shiny plastic card, he felt something else instead. He felt something soft and something cuddly. He leaned over to look inside his glove box, and the tiny fuzzy bunny was back. And this time it had a friend. Hey, I told you to get out, Mike barked at the first bunny. He pointed to the second bunny, and that goes for you too. Mike scooped up both bunnies, hoping that nobody was looking, and he put them down outside the car. But he felt their little eyes watching him when he drove away. On Thursday, there were 3 tiny, fuzzy, cute bunnies sitting on the hood. Get off my car, you bunnies! What if somebody sees you there? The bunnies did not get off. They looked at him and they wiggled their cute noses. Mike picked them up one by one and put them on the ground, and then he spelled it out for them. Look, big, mean, tough dogs don't hang around with tiny, fuzzy bunnies, okay? So beat it, scram, and don't come back. Mike found excuses not to use his car for the next few days. The next weekend, though, Mike had a ticket to the Monster Truck Show. He'd been looking forward to it for months. Monster trucks were big and mean, just like he. And the show was in the next town over. It was too far to walk, So Mike went out to his car and he looked under the hood. No bunnies. He looked in the trunk. No bunnies. And he looked inside the glove compartment. Heh, nothing to worry about at all. When he got to the stadium, the lot was full of big, mean dogs getting out of their own big, mean cars. None of them were as big and mean as Mike, of course, but pretty close. Mike turned off his ignition, and the key slipped from his grasp and landed on the floor. A pair of tiny white paws reached up from under the seat and picked them up. Ah! Oh! Oh! He stared in dismay as 4 tiny bunnies hopped up into the seat next to him. They twitched their soft bunny ears. They blinked their cute bunny eyes. No more bunnies! Get out of my car! But they just sat there looking at him. Fine. You stay there. I'm not missing this show for you. He snatched up his keys and slammed the door. The bunnies looked up at him with their sweet, fuzzy faces. Gosh, you guys are cute. And then he looked around. I mean, I hate cute, but, I'm Big Mean Mike. I don't like cute, but, He started to walk away, and then he looked around again, and the parking lot was full of big, mean dogs. And that's not a very good place for little bunnies. He couldn't leave them there. They wouldn't be safe. I have no choice. All right, bunnies, you can come with me, but I don't want the other dogs to see you. He got his gym bag out of the trunk. Hop in the bag and be quick about it. The bunnies hopped right in. Mike hurried inside and found his seat, and the monster truck show was just starting, and it was awesome. He felt his gym bag moving on the seat beside him. The bunnies were sticking their little heads out. They were looking around with bright, excited eyes. All right, you can watch. Just try not to let anyone see how cute you are. One by one, the bunnies climbed onto Big Mike's lap. They nibbled pieces of his popcorn. They bounced in excitement when a big, mean truck cleared a jump or a little car got crunched under the big, tough tires. Mike couldn't bring himself to make them go back in the bag. They were having such a good time, and so was he. It was kind of fun to have someone to watch the show with. Even better to have several someones, even if they were tiny, fuzzy, cute bunnies. When the show was over, Mike noticed a group of big, tough dogs waiting for him at the end of the aisle. "You got some new little friends there, Mike," one dog said. "I didn't figure you for the cute and cuddly type," said another. "I guess you're not so big and mean after all," a third dog barked. And soon all the dogs were laughing and pointing, and Mike didn't know what to do. This was terrible. His image was ruined. And then one of the bunnies leaned forward and made a grumpy, tiny, growly sound. And the other bunnies joined in. And Mike looked down at them. Slowly he smiled a big, mean grin. And then he looked at the other dogs and said, "You know what? I don't care what you think. I'm Big Mean Mike. I can hang out with whomever I want. I like these bunnies. They know how to have a good time, and they're adorable. Any of you got a problem with that?" All the other dogs took a step back. "No problem here," the first dog said. Yeah, we were just kidding around," said the second dog. "Good," said Mike. "Now get out of our way. My friends and I are going home." And from that day on, Big Mean Mike went back to driving around in that big, mean car on the big, mean streets. He did everything still in his own big, mean way, And everywhere he went, 4 tiny fuzzy bunnies went with him. Turns out Big Mean Mike wasn't mean after all. He just liked to wear pointy spiked collars and big clumpy boots. You can't tell what somebody is like on the outside. You got to get to know the inside. I'm glad he got to know those fuzzy little bunnies. And that is Big Mean Mike, and thank you, Mrs. Probeck's class, and I hope to see you in person soon.